this
allowed.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
allowed.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and your
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military, I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't please,
You're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want to see. That was with Obama.
It was your.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have.
And the year of Oaks News, where he said that he respects Trump and that the relationship can be salvaged. Here's a bit of what else he had to say.
To be more at our side, more at our side. I will explain why. Because it's not just that the war began somewhere between our countries. The war began.
All this ahead of a summit on Sunday when more than a dozen European countries will be convening in London, focusing on how to shore up more support for Ukraine.
Il y a un agresseur qui est la Russie.
There is an aggressor, Russia, and a people being attacked, the Ukrainians. I think we were all right to help Ukraine and to sanction Russia 3 years ago, and to continue doing it. When I say we, I mean the United States of America, the Europeans, the Canadians, the Japanese, and many others. We must thank those who have helped, and we must also respect those who have fought from the beginning, because they are fighting for their dignity, their independence, their children, and for the security of Europe. These are simple things, but they are good to recall in these moments.
Ce sont des choses simples, mais elles sont bonnes à rappeler dans ces moments-là.
Hamas has rejected Israel's formulation of extending the first phase of the ceasefire in Gaza, phase 1 expiring this Saturday. And no breakthrough was announced at talks in Egypt. Now, in January, Israel and Hamas signed the ceasefire deal, but the terms of the second phase were kept intentionally vague, assuming they would be established at future talks. Noga Tarnopolsky reports.
These talks are basically over right now. The ceasefire, the first phase, as you just described, ends today. And there are two crucial terms which Israel has not adhered to. One, talks on phase 2 were supposed to have started 2 weeks into this deal. We're now at the end of 6 weeks. And the second, and also, I think, a difficult blow for this Egypt-Gaza border. In other words, what's called the Philadelphia Corridor. And 2 days ago, Netanyahu's office announced that Israel would not be leaving that corridor. It was a unilateral decision. And they started floating this notion of an extension to phase 1, meaning Israel would keep getting hostages in drips and drabs, but never have to declare an end to the war. Hamas has rejected this, but it was kind of a Netanyahu floating balloon from the start. This was never part of the deal.
Cyclone Garance barreled across La Réunion Island on Friday, killing at least 4 people. The death toll rising after the body of a man was found trapped under one of thousands of trees ripped up by winds of up to 230 kilometers per hour and tore across the island. Emily Boyle has more.
Fallen trees lined the streets of La Réunion after storm. Locals could not leave their places of shelter.
We are still in red alert, so we will have to wait to go home and see the damage, and then see with our insurance if we go to a hotel or stay in the apartment. We don't know yet.
In the aftermath of the storm, around 800 people were being housed in emergency shelters. On Friday evening, 180,000 homes were without electricity and 80,000 without access to water, according to authorities. Faced with the extent of the damage, many more are expected to need shelter in the coming days.
So far, we have 34 people sheltering here. We could go up to 100. So we are reinforcing our efforts to be able to welcome more people.
Storm Garance was particularly violent, with recorded winds well over 200 kilometers an hour.
This time it was really nasty. After what I saw, it was quite traumatic.
Garance is the strongest storm to hit the French department of La Réunion since tropical cyclone Firinga in January 1989.
Well, that's it for the news here on Paris Direct. Last year, 673 cases of the rape of minors were recorded. We take a look at how authorities have been trying to tackle the problem.
Castration as a punishment for child sex offenders, but Madagascar is one of the few countries in the world to mandate it at a national level. The shock measure, introduced by the president last year, aims to reduce the thousands of child rapes committed each year. In this refuge center for young victims, this 17-year-old girl told us her story.
I was raped by my stepfather from the age of 12 to 14. He blackmailed my mother and performed witchcraft. He would enter a trance and say that he had been possessed by a spirit that told him that someone wanted to kill me, and told my mother that in order to avoid this, she would have to buy 3 cows, or I would have to sleep with him.
Surgical castration is an operation during which the testicles are removed under anesthetic. The procedure reduces sexual urges but doesn't eliminate them entirely. Since the passing of
Rapists deserve castration because they don't deserve it.